Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a quick preview video. Game of the century, at least according to the AP Top 25 poll. We got the number 2 Tennessee Volunteers taking on the number 1 team and the defending national champions. Both teams undefeated. The number 1 Georgia Bulldogs. This week's 3:30 SEC on CBS afternoon kickoff game. Again, I mentioned, could it be game of the century, which is a 1 versus 2 matchup, but in the regular season. And we really haven't had one legitimately since, I don't know. I think it was 2 and 3 based on the CFP rankings. You go back to the 2019 LSU and Alabama game, but legitimately going back to 2011, when we still had the BCS era, if you go back to the game of the century with Alabama and LSU in the 9-6 game, that was the last time we actually had a game of the century where it was the actual rankings were 1 and 2. Do I think I don't know if I'm going to be able to get out and I'll have to do it before tonight as I'm recording this on a Tuesday. I don't know if I'm going to get my top 25 predictions out, but definitely going forward the next few weeks of the season, definitely want to be predicting the CFP rankings for you guys if at all possible. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit the bell, you get notified when I post a new video or go live. This week's game takes us to Athens, Georgia. You got the number 2 Tennessee Volunteers 8-0 at number 1 Georgia Bulldogs 8-0. This is November 5th at 2:30 p.m. Central Time, 3:30 Eastern on CBS. And the line on this game, I think it dropped yesterday because last time I checked, I think it was 9 points and I had to change it, but it is currently at 8.5 in favor of the Dogs. When you look at this game and the stats, Tennessee scoring 49 points a game, Georgia pretty close to it, but at 41. The thing about this game is we're in an offensive league in college football, at least what it seems like, and you just got to be able to put points up on the board. I think both teams are capable of doing that. The only thing is defense is still what's going to win you titles, much like it did for Georgia last year against the Crimson Tide. You look at this year, after everything they lost, and you can say whatever about the competition, I get it. Everything they lost, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, who were some of the other ones, they lost so much to the draft. They had to replace a lot of key talent on their defense, and still they're only allowing 10.5 points a game. Incredible. Got to give them props, give them credit. Georgia's looking very good. When you look at this game specifically, and by the way, this is a rivalry game. Let me see. They don't really have much of a name to it. I guess it's the Georgia-Tennessee rivalry or Tennessee-Georgia rivalry, however you want to put it. You got 2 SEC East teams going head-to-head. Georgia leads the series all-time 26, 23, and 2. And like I mentioned, by the way, currently it is a game of the century, which is 1 versus 2. The rankings come out Tuesday nights. I think it's probably going to be a 1 versus 2, but it might not be because of one team in the way in Ohio State who's looked pretty darn good on both sides of the ball too. I think for certain, and not to get too far off track, we want to look at this game and break it down and everything. But I will say this: the three best teams, and this is from an Alabama fan, unbiased opinion. I do think you could put them in any order you want. The three best teams: Georgia, Ohio State, and Tennessee right now. Then after that, everybody else is fighting. You got Clemson. My Alabama Crimson Tide, I think, are ranked number 6 right now. I think that's accurate for right now. I think that they got a lot to prove and a lot to show going forward. I think they just need to keep quiet, win the SEC West, win the SEC, and just get in the playoffs and show what they can do there. Anyway, back to this game. The spread is 8.5 points in favor of Georgia. Not a double-digit favorite. It is more than a touchdown. Is this more than a touchdown type of game, though? I don't think so, man. I would not be surprised if you see the line drop to maybe 7.5, and it gets to a touchdown type of game. Georgia has a 75% chance to win. Tennessee has a 25% chance to win. It's not exactly 50-50. And I like that it's on the money at 75%. Like, how cool is that? Because how many times have I previewed a game and it's like 74.1 or 26.2% or point something. This is right on the money. A 75, a 25% chance for either one of these teams to win this game. Here's what I'll say. I do think obviously the better offense is Tennessee. And obviously the better defense is Georgia. When you look at what Tennessee's doing offensively, they got Jalen Wright at running back. He's got 478 yards on the ground off 92 rushing attempts. Jabari Small has 475, just behind Jalen Wright in yardage. He's run the ball 110 times. Hendon Hooker, Heisman contender, Heisman type of season. I mean, is he having his Joe Burrow type of moment? I think it's a great possibility. He's 156 of 219, 2,338 yards, a 71 completion percentage. He averages per pass 10.7 yards. He has thrown only one pick. He's got 21 touchdowns. The only thing I'll say, they got to step it up on offense, on the offensive line in this game, because he has taken 12 sacks for a sack yard loss of 62, but he has a really good QBR rating of 191. So that's really good. And he, of course, has great receivers. Cedric Tillman with 21 receptions, 268 yards, and a touchdown. Jalen Hyatt, phenomenal receiver. It's not even close. He leads the team in touchdowns at 14. He's got 907 yards. His longest play is of 78, and he's got 45 receptions. You look at Georgia's offense, Stetson Bennett, 2,349 yards. Brock Bowers, 547 yards receiving, leads the team, 31 receptions, 3 touchdowns for him. Go back to Stetson Bennett real quick. I mentioned his yardage. He's got a 67 completion percentage. He's taken 7 sacks. He's thrown 3 picks. He's got 9 touchdowns. I think I'll get some touchdowns in this game so we can get him to the double digits. If you're Stetson Bennett, he'll get some touchdowns for sure. Receiving wise, I mentioned Brock Bowers leads the team, but watch some other guys like Darnell Washington, Lad McConkey, Keirs Jackson, A.D. Mitchell, Dominic Blaylock. I mean, Georgia is deep at receiver with some juniors, some seniors, a couple sophomores. I know Brock Bowers is a sophomore. Watch those guys. Watch how they play. Watch them step up their game. And go out there and really just ball out. And, I really think that Georgia has the offense kind of, sort of, to keep up with. I'm going to say this. Tennessee has the better offense. That's no debate. But I think we're underestimating what Georgia can do. The question isn't, do they have a better offense? Because they don't. It's, is it good enough that they can still compete and put enough points up on the board? And I say yes. I do think Georgia has that talent. I think the coaching edge is clearly on Georgia too with Kirby Smart. I think that he's a little bit older than Josh Heupel. He has more experience. He has, um, a little bit more fire under him. He's got the discipline. I know I've been on here once or twice before, and I've kind of ripped on Kirby Smart a little bit, like, he's all right. He's a little laid back. He's not laid back. He's on fire, man. He's going after his guys, and he's like Nick Saban, man. He could be up 40-0, get a penalty. He's still going to be pretty ticked off. So, over under is 66. I'm not going to tell you how to bet this game. I'm not a betting expert. Good weather, though. 76 degrees in Athens on Saturday if you're going to the game. Total yards, give it to Tennessee. Yards allowed, give it to Georgia, who's allowing 85.5 rushing yards per game. Or really, I think that's all throughout the season, I should say. Georgia's allowing 177 passing yards. So their secondary, it's really good, but it is a little bit suspect. They got some key guys like Christopher Smith or Keely Ringo, Javon Bullard. Malachi Starks has been that phenomenal freshman at 19 total tackles or on his own, 30 total tackles, 19 on his own, 11 assist tackles. He's got 2 interceptions, has yet to get a pick six, though. He's defended 5 passes. Christopher Smith has defended 3 passes. He's got 2 picks. In total on defense, there are 6 interceptions by the Georgia defense. There are 24 pass breakups, 71 sack yards off 10 sacks. Those are good numbers that are hard to get, man. 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries. So they fumble the ball or force a fumble and they pick it up. So the numbers are great, man. It's loaded. It's deep. That's just how Georgia is. That's how they recruit. They recruit inside and out on defense, in-state, out-of-state. They get the 5 stars in. And Kirby does a phenomenal job of coaching them up to play to a standard of excellence. That being said, I won't be on here too long for this game. The spread's 8.5. Again, I mentioned the ranking show Tuesday night. Tonight, as I record this, Georgia leads the series overall. They don't exactly – it's not an owning Tennessee type of thing, although they've won the past 5 matchups and all have been blowouts. Do I think this one's a little different? Let me say this, for this particular season, if it were in Knoxville, I'm taking Tennessee straight up with that crowd rocking. It's in Athens. And would it surprise anybody to see Tennessee get the victory? I don't think it should. I'll say this. I don't think it should surprise anybody if Tennessee wins because Tennessee's just being that good of a team, having a historic season for their program, for college football. I mean, they are playing the LSU card in 2022, basically is what they're doing. The question is, are they going to be undefeated? And if there's any team out there, Alabama couldn't even beat Tennessee. But Alabama's got some issues of their own. Florida couldn't beat Tennessee. They're Florida. What about Georgia, though, who's got the best defense, still good, still scary after everything they lost to the NFL? The defending national champions. Is this the team to end the win streak for the Volunteers? I do think it is. Who am I pulling for in this game? I don't care who wins. I don't care if Georgia wins. I don't care if Tennessee wins. I don't care who loses. What I care about in this game, it better not disappoint. College game day is going to be in Athens. I'm sure SEC Nation is going to be in Athens. It just better live up to expectation and hype. That's all I got to say. It better be a one-score game. Better come down to the wire. Better be good. And that's what I think is going to happen. I'll go ahead and give a score prediction. The spread is 8.5. I think that's going to drop just a little bit more. Maybe. I got a touchdown game. A touchdown wins it for the Georgia Bulldogs. Yes, Georgia will win. And I'm going to call a score 37-30 over the Tennessee Volunteers. And I know Tennessee's undefeated and on this great win streak and this historic season and everything. And you look at the rest of their schedule, it sets up pretty nicely, I would say. Georgia, I'm going to say that's your first loss, though, November 5th, this Saturday, 3:30 Eastern. But after that, you're going to beat Missouri at home. You'll probably end up beating South Carolina on the road. And then you go at Vandy for rivalry weekend. You'll win that game too. So you'll end up being 11-1. You won't exactly win the division unless something crazy happens in the next few weeks. I got to double check Georgia's schedule. Look, it would not surprise me any way this game goes. I almost came on here and decided not to pick this game. I almost decided that. As far as I was obviously going to preview the game, but I almost said don't even try to pick a score prediction because that's how close this game is going to be. Georgia's next opponents after Tennessee, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky. Both, I think, are wins, although Kentucky, you got to be a little careful. They've been okay this year. And then Georgia Tech. So Georgia 12-0 at the end of the regular season when it's all said and done based on my prediction, and Tennessee 11-1. Tennessee's going to be sitting there waiting. Do they get a playoff spot? I think so. I just don't think they're going to win the East, although this is your year to do that. If you finally want to get over every single hump and bump in the road and what's been holding you back, if you want to do that, this is the year to do it. I just don't know, man. If this game were in Knoxville, I'd say something different. But it's in Athens, and I got to go with the Georgia Bulldogs at home. That crowd's going to be rocking and ready to go. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got an amazing plan. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media checking out. Love you guys. Let me know your score predictions.